The story begins with young Ben Grimm being picked on by another kid named Marty. Marty was an older, bigger kid, so he could easily pick on a smaller, weaker kid like Ben. He was mad because he thought Ben was creeping on his little sister. "Marty, he's not creeping," his little sister said as she explained that Ben was assigned to the same history project as her and that they were doing homework. Marty didn't care, he just wanted an opportunity to pick on Ben because his big brother was no longer around to protect him. He had died. "Don't talk about my brother," Ben said, glaring angrily at Marty as he formed a fist. He rushes at Marty, and as he tries to throw a punch, Marty trips him. Ben goes down, and in a second Marty is on top of him. Marty mercilessly throws punches at him as Ben protects his head while on the floor. "Get off of me," he cried out. We then cut to many years later. Ben has become the Thing due to the incident with the cosmic rays. He walks alongside a now adult Marty. "We were just kids goofing around, right?" "No big deal," Marty asks. Ben then asked him that if it wasn't a big deal, then why does somebody keep telling him Marty was still taking about it? He was referring to the incident from their childhood when Marty used to pick on him. Marty quickly explains that it was just a joke. But Ben couldn't see what was so funny. "How about we don't do any more reminiscing? Just focus on the task at hand. The sooner we find your sister's kid, the sooner I go home and never see you again," said Ben. Marty's sister Kid had been kidnapped earlier and he sought Ben to help get her back. All of a sudden Bullseye appears from above. "Hey ugly, you lost?" Ben and Marty look up to see him leaning on a street sign. Bullseye then throws ninja darts at Ben, but they just bounce off his rock-hard body. Ben then reminds him of his unbreakable skin and superhuman strength. But Bullseye assures Ben he knows who he is. "Big man says you can't be here." As Ben's about to ask him about who the hell the big man was, Bullseye attacks again, but this time he aimed for his eyes. Ben screamed in pain. Now he was angry. "That's why they call me Bullseye," Bullseye joked. Ben punches the pole Bullseye is standing on and Bullseye jumps off, ready for a fight. He throws more ninja darts at Ben, who then easily swaps them away like flies. He then reminds Bullseye of his unbreakable superhuman skin. Bullseye's then drop kicks Ben to his surprise. "Does everybody have super strength now?" Ben asked. Earlier in this same comic he had fought Gladiator was strong but not supposed to be super strong. And now another villain had suddenly acquired super strength. Ben rushes towards him but he quickly evades the attack. Bullseye then reminds Ben that he could just leave and not get his ass hooped as he throws a razor blade inside Ben's mouth. Ben, now furious, ignores him and picks up a street pole and swings at Bullseye, who quickly dodges. "What do you know about this man's niece?" Ben asked. Bullseye denies knowing anything. "I've killed a lot of guys' niece," said Bullseye. Marty then steps in trying to describe his 8-year-old niece. But Bullseye cuts both of them off, telling them to calm down as he explained how he knew nothing about any 8-year-old. "I'm not that kind of psychopath," he assured. Ben socks him in the face, sending his flying into the streets. "I believe him," says Ben as he puts on his hat. He's figured out that Bullseye was just taking orders. He's somebody's guy. Both him and Marty hide in an alley as they look out for anyone coming to pick up the now passing out Bullseye. Eventually some goons pull up. They pick up Bullseye and throw him in the back of a van. As they drive off, both Ben and Marty quickly hop in cab. They tell the cab driver to follow the white van headed south through lower Manhattan. We then van pulling up in a shady waterfront warehouse. Both Ben and Marty decide to peek from the back of a caravan to see if Bullseye was still knocked out. Suddenly, to both Ben and Marty's shock, the goons forcefully pull out a little girl from the van. "That's her. That's my niece," Marty yells out. As Ben and Marty get ready for go time, a fancy limo then pulls up next to the van. As the boss steps out the car, he scolds the goons for now flying under the radar and getting superheroes involved. Ben calls out to the mystery man. As he turns around, we get to see that it's Hammerhead. The goons offer to help take care of Ben, but then all of a sudden the warehouse explodes. Everyone starts to wonder what the hell happened. Bullseye steps out of the vehicle. Marty's niece walks out of the flames crying for help. "Grab that kid," Hammerhead yells to Bullseye. As Hammerhead tries running after her, he's then grabbed in the head. Ben uses him as a bowling ball and tosses him at Bullseye. They both go crashing into the water. The goons then pull out their guns and open fire. Ben quickly rushes over, shielding the girl from the bullets. The scared little girl tells Ben not to touch her. Ben picks up the car and swats away the goons with it. "Are you all right?" he asks the little girl. He then tells her he's friends with her uncle and promised to get her out of there. At this point Ben realized he had lost track of Marty. He began to worry, thinking that he must have gotten caught in the explosion earlier. Another explosion goes all of a sudden as Ben shields her. "Don't take another step," Bullseye says as both him and Hammerhead climb out of the water. Ben picks up the girl and quickly starts running as the platform crashes into the water, sinking both Hammerhead and Bullseye. The goons inform them that Boss was on the phone. It's Wilson Fisk. He's furious as Ben Grimm had gotten away with their merchandise and trashed their warehouse. He then phones someone else and tells him to get the word out. He had put a $10 million bounty on his Ben Grimm's head. In the next scene, Ben and the girl are on a rooftop. The girl starts crying as she thinks her uncle is now dead. Ben then tries to comfort her. She then asks if Ben and Marty and her mom were best friends back in school. Ben then hugs her as she cries herself to sleep in his arms. Ben also falls asleep. While asleep he starts dreaming about how Marty used to pick up him while they were kids and then how he had died in the explosion earlier. They're both immediately woken up by the wrecking crew. The wrecker then attacks Ben with his crowbar, but Ben blocks it as the rest of the crew attack Ben all at once. Both Ben and the girl are then sent flying of the building. As they land on the floor, they turn to see the villains running towards them. Ben stops attack from Wrecker, grabs his crowbar off of him and starts smacking around the rest of the crew with the crowbar. Ben then asks them why they would be picking on children for no good reasons. Wrecker retorts back telling Ben they had about 10 million good reasons. "Big man put a bounty on your head. Dead or alive," Wrecker revealed to Ben's shock. He then asked how they planned to spend the 10 million after he shattered every bone in their body. At this point not only did he have Wrecker's wrecking ball but also Thunderball's ball and chain. At this point Ben starts wrecking the wrecking crew. After taking enough beatings they begin to retreat. Out of nowhere Juggernaut crashes in. He sends both Ben and the girl flying off. As Ben tries to see if she's okay. "Neither of you are going to be okay," Juggernaut says as he rushes at them. Ben stops him with one hand, but then Black Tom blasts him from behind. As Ben finds his balance he gets punched in the face by Juggernaut and he lands on the floor. Both Juggernaut and Black Tom stand above him declaring their victory. Ben grabs Tom by the neck and tosses him across the city as Juggernaut runs after him. Both Ben and the girl try to calling the Fantastic Four for help, but it seems they've gone on a mission to the negative zone without Ben, so he was on his own in this fight. As they step outside the phone booth, Ben gets smacked by the villain known as Moonstone, but he makes quick work of her, knocking her out and leaving her passed out on the street. But it's not over yet. Rhino come running into both Ben and the girl, but Ben also makes quick work of him. Up next is Grizzly and Hate Monger. Ben turns around to run away only to see Red Ghost and his super apes waiting. Frustrated, Ben turns another corner and runs away. He realizes he's not so lucky as he runs into the Sinister Six. The Sinister Six quickly attack Ben on sight as he begins to dodge and counter their attacks. He swats away Electro, but behind Red Ghost and the rest of the villains have caught up. We now see that Wilson Fisk is unhappy with the chaos happening all over the city. He calls Hammerhead and asks him to handle the situation in a way best suited to his expertise. Ben then runs down into a subway station to escape all the madness, but is then confronted by Madame Viper and her goons. He attacks swiftly and Ben thinks these guys would be easy work, but it turns out they had also been enhanced with super strength and they overpower him. The little girl cries out to Ben pleading that he gets up. As Madame Viper walked closer to the scared little girl, her powers suddenly go off and this causes an explosion that sends Madame Viper and her goons flying. Ben seizes the opportunity and grabs the little girl running out of the subway. He hops on the back of a garbage truck which then takes them to Yancey Street. This was the street that Ben Grimm grew up in alongside Marty and the little girl's mom. He arrives at their destination and knocks on a door. The girl's mother steps out happy to see Ben and her lost daughter. Ben tries to break the news of her brother's death to her but is shocked when he sees an injured Marty sitting inside having a drink. "No!" the little girl screams out. As she begins to freak out, her powers start going up by Ben calms her down. She then explains, "I thought I was safe from him," she said. This pisses Ben off as he begins to put two and two together. Marty tries to play it off but Ben grabs him, slamming him into the fridge. He then orders Marty to start talking or else. Marty then comes clean. He explains that he knew someone who was paying money for superpowered individuals. He then swears that after he has gotten the money he was going to bring her right back home. They had a machine that would scrape away her powers. It all went sideways when Hammerhead decided he didn't need to do business with a nobody like him and took the girl anyway. The mother gets pissed off and threatens to call the police. Before anyone can do anything, Hammerhead and his goons had arrived in Yancey Street. As Ben steps out the house, he sees Hammerhead waiting for him with flaming fists. Hammerhead quickly knocks down Ben. The goons quickly rush inside the house and drag out the girl and Marty, but she quickly sets the goon on fire, and as she's about to do the same to her uncle, Ben knocks Hammerhead off him and calms her down. He talks out of it. But it's not over yet. They still had to deal with Hammerhead and his goons. Ben then reveals that he'd been holding back. He couldn't hit Hammerhead the same way he would hit Hulk, and proceeds to stand on business, knocking down Hammerhead. We then see Ben has tied up Marty, bringing him up to Wilson Fisk's office. He kicks a hole in wall and walks in the office. "Are you here to clobber me?" Wilson asks with a grin on his face. He then drops the now tied up Marty in the office and replied saying he could never pick on someone smaller than him. He scolds Wilson for snatching up little kids and scraping off their superpowers. Wilson denies any involvement as he claims to be a legitimate businessman. Ben then messes up Wilson's office as he walks out into the rain, leaving Marty in Wilson's office.